Good morning, students. Here in last class, we discussed about what you mean by data structure, what are the different types of data structures, right? In this session, we are going to discuss about what type of operations we are going to perform on data structures. Here, we can perform various types of operations on the data structures. These 7 are the basic operations we can perform on the data structures. First one is the insertion, deletion, traversing, sorting, searching, merging and update. Here these 7 are the basic operations we can perform on the data structures. While we are going to perform any operation on the data structure, we have to check whether any condition is going to be satisfied. If the condition is satisfied, then only we can perform the operations on the data structure. Here first one is the insertion operation. Insertion operation means here in this operation we can insert any element into the data structure. Here if any condition is going to be satisfied, then only we can insert any element into the data structure. For example, we are going to use one stack data structure, right? Stack is also the data structure. In the stack data structure, we can perform these 7 operations. We can insert any operation into the stack. We can delete any element from the stack. We can traverse the elements which are present in which are present in this particular stack and all those things. Here, while we are going to insert any element into the stack, we are going to use push function. We are going to use push function. By using the various types of functions, we are going to perform the operations on that particular data structure. Second one is the deletion operation. Deletion operation means we can delete an element from the data structure. By using this operation, we can delete an element from the data structure. Here this operation is also be performed by using the functions only. Next one is traversing. Traversing means visiting each and every element which is present in the data structure. Traversing means we are going to visit each and every element which is present in the data structure. For example, this is the stack. Stack is having 3 elements, 10, 20, 30, right? Here traversing means we have to visit the element 10, then 20, then 30. So here we are going to visit each and every element which is present in the data structure is known as the traversing. Next basic operation is sorting. Sorting means here we are going to arrange the elements either in ascending order or descending order. The elements which are present in the data structure, by using the function, we are going to arranging the elements in the ascending order or descending order. For example, 10, 20, 30 is there. Here I am going to perform the sorting operations. Now I am going to arranging the elements in ascending order. So 10, 20, 30. We can perform the operation in descending order also. 10, 30, 20, 10. So we are going to perform various sorting techniques on the data structure. Next basic operation is searching. Searching means here we are going to search whether the particular element is present in the data structure or not. Searching means here by using the function we are going to check whether the given element is present in the data structure or not. For example, here in this stack 10, 20, 30 is there. I am going to search whether the element 20 is present in the data structure or not. Here I am using the various types of operations here. By using the operations, here if 20 element is present in the data structure, then the search is successful. If 20 is not present in the data structure, then the search is unsuccessful, right? Next one is the merging. Merging means here combining 2 data structures is known as the merging. For example, here already 10, 20, 30 one data structure is there. Now I am using one more data structure 50, 60, 70, one more stack. Now I am going to perform the merging operations on this data structure. So after combining this one 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70. Here I am taking the examples of stack. Here we can perform all these operations on stacks, queues, lists, double linked list, trees and graphs, right? These are the basic operations. Next one is the update operation, right? Update operation means just we are going to updating, just we are going to modifying, or we are replacing the one element with the another element. For example, here 10, 20, 30 is there. I want to replace this 20 element by 50. Just by using this update element, here 50 is going to be replaced. Right? Here these are the basic operations which we can perform on the data structures. Now already you know how to implement all these operations on the data structure by using C. In this semester you are going to learn how to implement these operations by using C++. Now, introduction to C++. To implement the data structure, we are using C++ here. That's the reason we have to learn what do you mean by C++. Here C++ was developed at Bell Laboratories in 1979. Here C++ is follow all the rules and regulations which are followed by the C language, and it is going to support one more thing, that is the concept of class. C++ supports the one more concept, that is the concept of class. In C doesn't support the concept of class, whereas in case of C++ supports the concept of class. And C++ is a object oriented programming language. C++ is a object oriented programming language. Object oriented programming language means here we can create the objects for that particular class. By using the objects, we can call the data members, member functions which are present in the class. Next, C++ supports procedural language. What do you mean by procedure? Procedure means a method. Here C is also the procedural language. Here why? Because C supports functions and methods. C++ also supports functions and methods. That's why C++ is also known as a procedural programming language. Here C++ is the object oriented language. Why? Because we can create the objects of that particular class and we can access the data members, member functions outside the class by using the objects. That's the reason we can call C++ is a object oriented programming language. Next is here one more important concept is generic programming. What do you mean by generic programming? Generic programming means here we are going to use the concept of templates. By using the templates, we can perform various types of operations. That's the reason C++ is known as generic programming language. And here C++ is a middle level language. Why C++ is a middle level language? Why? Because C++ supports both the concepts of high level language and low level language. Here it supports the concepts of low level language and it supports the concept of high level language. That's the reason we can call C++ is a middle level language. And we can execute or we can run the programs of C++ on variety of operating systems, just like Windows, Unix, Mac operating systems, Ubuntu, all those things. That's why we can call the C++ is a platform independent language. Now see the difference between C and C++. Already I explained. Here C follows the procedural style programming. Procedures means methods. C supports methods and functions. That's the reason we can call this C is a procedural programming language, whereas C++ supports the procedural programming language as well as object oriented programming language. Why? Because here C supports both the methods and functions, as well as we can create the objects and we can perform the data abstraction, we can perform the data encapsulation, all those things. These are the concepts of object oriented programming language. That's the reason we can call C++ is a object oriented programming language as well as procedural oriented programming language. Next one is the second difference between C and C++ is this: data is less secure in C. Here and data in C++ we can use access modifiers. By using the access modifiers we can secure the data. Here there are three types of access modifiers are there. Here public, private and protected. Public, private, protected access modifiers are there. By using these access modifiers we can secure the data. If for example any data member or member function is declared as a private in the private access specifier, then no one can access that particular data. No one can access that particular data. That's the reason here C++ is a more secure language compared to C. Here C follows the top down approach, whereas C++ follows the bottom up approach. I will explain in the next class what do you mean by top down approach, what do you mean by bottom up approach. Next one is the C does not support function overloading, whereas C++ supports the function overloading. Here what do you mean by function overloading? Just I will explain what is the definition of function overloading. For example, in C, here I am going to define void add a comma b void add a comma b comma c. Here function name is same but the parameter list is different. Function name is same but the parameter list is different. Here whenever I am going to try to execute this program, I will get one error in C. Right? Whereas in case of C++, if I am here, parameter list is different. Here we are passing 2 parameters here, we are passing 3 parameters here. Here this is known as the function overloading. Function is having the same name, function which is having the same name, but the parameter list is different. Here we are passing only 2 parameters, here we are passing the 3 parameters. Whenever we are going to create the object for this class, by using that particular object, if I am going to call obj add 2 comma 3, obj add 2 3 4, by depending upon the parameter passing numbers, directly that particular function is going to be called. Directly that particular function is going to be called. Here obj add 2 3 4, directly this function, second function is going to be called. Whereas in case of C, here whenever I am going to try to execute void add a comma b, void add a comma b comma c, it will show the error. So that's the reason here C is not supports the function overloading. Whereas in case of C++, C++ supports the function overloading. Depending upon the parameter list, by using the object, we can call that particular function. Next one is, in C you can't use functions in structure, whereas in case of C++ you can use functions in structures. Here what do you mean by structure? Just I will recall what do you mean by structure. Here in last class I explained what is the variable, what is the array. In array we are going to allocating the memory, we are going to try to store the elements in a sequential order, 2 3 4 5. int a of 4, int a of 4 means all the integer 4 are the integer variables we can store in one memory location. Here if I want to store various types of data types in a single value, single variable, for example struct student, int roll number, char name, float, average. Right? Here roll number is integer data type, name is the character data type, average is a float data type. So all these 3 variables we are going to store in a single variable. Here all these 3 variables we are going to store in the structured data type. Right? Here it is not possible in the arrays. To overcome the difficulty, here we are going to introduce the structure. In structure we are going to store various types of data types in a single structure. Here student is there, in the student here we are having the roll number is integer data type, name is the character data type, average is a floating point data type. So in a single data structure we are going to store the various types of data types. Right? Here in C we can't use functions in a structure. In C directly we can't define any function in the structure, whereas in case of C++ we can use functions in structures. Right? Here in C++ it is going to follow the properties of all those things, and one more extra thing is there. Here in C we can't use the functions, whereas in case of C++ we can use the functions in structures. Right? Next one is, C doesn't support reference variable, whereas C++ supports the reference variable. Here reference variable means, here in this case C is not going to allow to create the object, whereas in case of C++ we can create the reference variable, we can create the objects. By using the objects we can call the data members and member functions outside the class. So this is the important difference between C and C++. Here C does not support reference variable, C++ supports the reference variable. Next one is, in C scanf and printf functions are going to use as input and output functions, whereas in this case we are going to use cin and cout function. Here for the input and output operations we are going to perform. Here in C we are going to use stdio.h header file, whereas in case of C++ we are going to use iostream.h header file. to include these functions. Now next is the operator overloading is not possible in C, whereas in case of C++ operator overloading is possible. Here already I explained what do you mean by function overloading. In next class I will explain what do you mean by operator overloading. By using one example I will explain what is operator overloading. Next is C programs are divided into procedures and modules, whereas C++ programs are divided into functions and classes, right? Next one, C++ does not provide the features of namespace. C++ provide the feature of nameplace, and here we are having a little exception handling is not easy in C, whereas in case of C++ we can by using try and catch block we can perform exception handling, right? Thank you.